Hey guys, so as many of you are aware, Valyrian steel is one of the most sought after metals in the Seven Kingdoms. They are extremely light, strong and even sharper than any of the best forged blades of Westeros. Now, as many of us also know, the lost art of forging Valyrian steel has never been rediscovered. It died with the blacksmiths of Valyria after the city's doom. According to the Citadel of Westeros, there are 227 Valyrian steel weapons that are held in Westeros, the vast majority of which are believed to be lost to time. However, there are still some that remain and others with fates that remain unknown. So this video will be split into two parts. The first video, of which you are currently watching, will be covering the Valyrian steel swords still in existence in present day Westeros. The second video, which will come after this one, will then cover the Valyrian steel swords that suffered unknown fates. So guys, with that being said, please enjoy today's video on the Valyrian steel swords of Westeros that are still known to exist. Okay guys, so let's start with the sword that has known to be in existence but was then reforged. By the way, reforging Valyrian steel is a skill of its own and very few blacksmiths can actually do it. So the sword I'm talking about is Ice, the ancestral two-handed great sword of House Stark. The sword was forged over 400 years ago in Valyria and was actually acquired by House Stark. The sword was wide as a man's head and as long as an adolescent boy. It was passed down through the generations and was last used by its last owner, Eddard Stark, until it was confiscated from his belongings after his beheading. The sword was so large it was reforged into not one but two swords by Tovo Mott, one of the few blacksmiths in the world with the ability of reforging Valyrian steel. The two swords went to Joffrey Baratheon and Jaime Lannister. Joffrey's sword, named Widow's Wail, was a longsword. The metal has a ripple effect, with a dark grey and dark red blend. The sword has golden lions' heads at the hilt, with rubies for eyes. Its counterpart, but not exactly its twin, Oathkeeper, given to Jaime Lannister by his father Tywin, was 3 inches longer and half an inch wider. It was also thicker and heavier, but its blade was equal to Widow's Wail in sharpness. Oathkeeper was given to Brienne of Tarth by Jaime, and remains with her to this day. Widow's Wail remained at the Red Keep after Joffrey's death until Tommen was old enough to be able to wield it. The next known Valyrian steel sword in existence is Heartsbane, the ancestral sword of House Tarly, which has been in the family for over 500 years, passed down through the generations. It has a grey and silver ripple effect and curled handguard on the hilt. It was wielded in battle many times, most recently by Randyll Tarly and his son, Samwell. Next up in our list of Valyrian steel swords still in existence in Westeros, is a sword called Lady Forlorn. Now, this is an interesting story, because this is a sword named after a sword. Lady Forlorn was the original ancient sword of the Corbrace. It was not a Valyrian steel sword, still a sword of the finest quality. However, the Corbrace later acquired a Valyrian steel sword, which was then named Lady Forlorn after the original sword. It is smoky grey in appearance with a ruby in its pommel. It is in the possession of Sir Lyn Corbray, despite him being second to his brother Lionel as head of House Corbray. Now next up, we've got a sword we're all familiar with, Longclaw from House Mormont. The sword has been in the Mormont family for over 500 years. It was carried by Jorah Mormont of Bear Island until he left the sword behind when he joined the Night's Watch. After his son Jorah left Westeros in disgrace, he too left the sword behind. It was then sent to the Night's Watch to Jorah once again, where he eventually passed it on to Jon Snow after Jon saved his life. An interesting fact about Longclaw is that it's considered a bastard sword, in between a longsword and a greatsword in size. Its hilt as well was originally a bear's head, but after it became damaged by fire when Jon saved his Lord Commander's life, it was regrafted into a wolf's head as a tribute to Jon's heritage. We've now got quite an interesting Valyrian steel sword up next, and it's a sword called Nightfall. A long sword with a moonstone pommel, Nightfall was originally held by a pirate who presumably stole it from Valyria. Dalton Greyjoy, the Great Lord of the Iron Islands, took the sword from the pirate who was already dead. And after Dalton's death, the sword somehow ended up in the possession of House Harlaw. How it ended up there remains a mystery. So the next Valyrian steel sword still in existence in present day Westeros is called Red Rain. Now Red Rain belongs to House Drum. The Drum family came into possession of the sword when Himlar Drum disarmed the knight with just a cudgel. So everyone, that is the list of Valyrian steel swords that are still known to be in existence in present day Westeros. So make sure to check out my other video, which will be coming up after this one, on Valyrian steel swords with unknown fates, coming shortly. Thanks guys, have a good day. Thank you so much for watching, I truly appreciate your support. Everyone, notifications of uploads are more important than ever, so please, if you haven't already, turn those notifications on to make sure you're notified the moment my video goes live. Making videos is what I love to do, it's my dream and my passion. However, it does cost time and money to produce this content, so if you have $1 to spare to support me on Patreon in exchange for some exclusive unseen content, then you can click the Patreon link below or at the end of this video. Please only support me if you can afford it. And make sure to follow me on Instagram at InstaDeanJ and on Twitter at PotterFolklore. Check out my other videos appearing on screen, and please make sure, most importantly, to hit that subscribe button. Thanks again everyone, and please have a great day.